Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get back to Iraq. Not a whole lot going on, but I've had several discussions with people. I'm trying to explain. I know there's people out there telling you, other YouTubers, oh, the RV's happening next week. We got the computer screens in the background and people at the redemption centers, and we got the special code we got to put in. Man, they've been saying that for years, guys. This is why I say stay grounded. You can really get an idea of what's going on just by paying attention to the news. Seriously. I did a video in which I explained all the things that are taken in consideration when you're trying to determine what the exchange rate is going to be. And one of those things is, of course, you have to have a stable government. How about, first of all, you have to have a government. One has not been chosen, and they still have not voted on a president yet. I think today was the deadline. Yes, it was today. And there's no president. They can't get a quorum going. I was wondering what the courts are going to be able to do. It looks like we're going to find out here pretty soon. But yeah, you have to have a government, a stable economy. You have to have outside investors, foreign investors who are interested in going to your country to invest in it. All these things are taken in consideration. So we're getting there, but not as quickly as a lot of us would like, obviously. And again, I heard somebody say, no, Pimpy's wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. There is plenty of money from the oil, and that's how we're going to get the rate change. Even though I showed you videos on how rate changes are determined and said, do any of these apply at the moment? No. Everything has to do with the oil money. Yeah, okay. Sure. And if oil prices plunge again, what do you think's going to happen in Iraq? Their economy is going to tank, and they're going to be right back to square one, struggling. Now, if you remember correctly, not that long ago, we seen an article that said they had no plans on changing the exchange rate for 5 years. The last time they said that, they still haven't changed it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take 5 years. I'm just saying they said that in the article, and people didn't want to believe it. Well, they said that in an article, I think it was back in 2012 or 2013. Nobody wanted to believe it. 5 years went by, and lo and behold, they still haven't changed the rate. There are a lot of factors taken in consideration before you can change the exchange rate. Anyways, let's get in today's news real quick. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button, and if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and you guys know I definitely appreciate all you that do. Of course, right now is a great time, a perfect time to buy gold and silver. There is a little banker's war going on, that's for dang sure. We are going into the gold standard, the world is, and I don't think it's going to be stopped. So make sure you got yourself in position, have that gold and silver ready, in your possession. Anyways, when you go to buy your gold and silver, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Well, now, there's a little bombing going on. Yep. Missile bombing targets the outskirts of Erbil. So there's 3 missiles that were fired. They didn't really hit anything, so everything is good. But even so, missiles are being fired. That's what we don't want to see happen. Al-Kadhimi's advisor talks about the strategy of repaying Iraq's debts. So we're talking about the financial advisor to the Prime Minister, Saleh. He told the news that the maximum limits for the international public debts are approximately 70 trillion dinars, or the equivalent of foreign currency of $48 billion, which are debts imposed by the circumstances and conditions of 2 successive double crises that affected the national economy in close terms. We know about this, so what they're saying is between 2014 and 17, the ISIS terrorist fights, and of course at the end of 2019, having to deal with the fall of oil prices, and of course dealing with the RONA has set them back. He pointed out that the light of the foregoing, the strategy of exhausting the internal debts goes to repaying the government debt instruments held by the government banking system, which is currently in possession of about 98% of the debt, which is represented by treasury transfers maturing only 1 year. and bearing annual interest on average. It is 3% for different versions. So what's that, about 3% per year? That doesn't seem too bad. But with oil prices going the way they are, it would seem to me they can get this paid off pretty quickly. He added that the debt repayment was postponed for many years due to the high financial deficit at the time, and the only annual interest on it from the public finances pointed out that the strategy to extinguish the internal debt that was approved would be able to extinguish the internal debt during the periods of 2022 until 2024, which will enable the government's commercial banks to support the elements, its liquidity, and raising the value of its investments, as well as sending a good signal of high coordination between the monetary and financial policies, because the Central Bank of Iraq is the highest holder of the public debt instruments. By accepting the deductions based on the bank's desire by liquidating it, that within the scope of the operation's open market. But down here below it says cabinet spokesperson confirmed earlier that the cabinet had voted on a strategy to pay off foreign and domestic debts for the years 2022 through 2024. So, I mean, that's much quicker than before 2044. That's for dang sure. So the deadline came today for selecting a president. Obviously, one was not chosen. Now we're going to see exactly what it is the Supreme Court can do, if anything at all. There's a lot of suggestions, but I think we're getting in new territory that they never had to deal with before. So like I said before, I was curious as to what it is exactly the courts could do. We're going to find out here, because they're going to have to weigh in on the fact that a president still has not been chosen. Parliamentary Finance set $75 oil price in the 2022 budget. Now that's a little bit different than what they spoke about. Said the Parliamentary Finance Committee said on Wednesday that the appropriate price for selling a barrel of oil within the draft federal budget law for the year 2022, while indicating that the food security law will address the problems of delaying the approval of the budget. A committee member said in a statement to a local satellite channel, which was followed by the news, that setting $75 per barrel of oil within the budget is logical in light of the rise in the markets. He added that any talk about reducing the price of the dollar against the dinar is not economical, and the government, the Minister of Finance, and the central banks believe that it poses a long-term danger to the Iraqi economy, and this is something that never happens. See what they're talking about? Not changing the rate for a little while. He pointed out that addressing the delay of approving the budget will be through the food security law, which is being discussed now within the Parliamentary Financial Committee, pointing out that the goal of this law is to provide all emergency funds that the government cannot use and spend on them according to the month by month is what that is, by the way. He added that the coverage of that money is done from the financial abundance due to the rise in oil prices. It goes to the fund in which 25 trillion or a little less will be placed, and the other part goes to repay the public and private debt. So I know there are YouTubers out there telling you guys that the change is getting ready to happen, that I was wrong. Okay, supposedly they're insiders. I'm telling you guys, stay grounded. They are making a lot of money right now, but there's more to change in the exchange rate. I've covered it many times. First things first, they got to get a government in there, first and foremost. All right? The other day I read this. Iraq agrees to sign a memorandum of understanding with NATO. They're joining NATO. Yikes. The Council on National Security Agents in Iraq agreed today to conclude a military memorandum of understanding with NATO. As earlier today, the Council held its 8th session for 2022, headed by the National Security Advisor and in the presence of members of Council. A statement issued by the Commander's office said that the Council discussed the topics on its agenda and took the necessary decisions and recommendations regarding them. It said where the Council agreed to conclude the Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Iraq and NATO group, according to the statement. The statement added that with regards to the issue of the Security Intelligence Center in the Iraq Reform Department, the Council directed the information of the Joint Committee to review and mature this file and clarify what is related to defining the task and powers of each party coordination mechanisms among them and preventing potential intersections. So is Iraq joining NATO? Looks like it. So again, I don't want people to get all pissy about this. Look, they're going to keep telling you that they have no intentions on changing the rate at the moment. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You can understand there's still some serious steps that need to be taken. And the first things first is you got to get a dang government in there. They haven't even selected a president. The election was in October. Look where we are. We're in April and still nothing. To the point now where the courts have to get involved. But as soon as the government gets in there, then we're going to see what's happening. To see how they rock and roll. All right? Anyways, that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so. Because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.